Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to have you join us for this fourth webinar where we are covering master's degree courses in data science, in informatics, and we've now had presentations of 6 different courses, and we're getting 2 more today. One course is a combined course from Manchester and UCL. The other course is from Edinburgh, and we're going to kick off with the Edinburgh course presented by Michelle Evans, who is Director of the MSc in Data Science at the University of Edinburgh, and she's going to tell you all about how that works. Michelle, over to you.
Thanks, Angus. I'll just share my screen. So hopefully you can all see that, okay? Great. So we're really looking forward to sharing with you our online learning postgraduate opportunities in data science and health and social care. We do offer a master's, a PG certificate, a PG diploma and postgraduate professional development opportunities as part of this. And I'm joined this evening by Dr. Brittany Blankenship, who's our data science lecturer, and Cesario Pansinha, who is our current third-year student who's studying their dissertation year and is our student representative this evening. So just to point out that we're part of the University of Edinburgh, and just a few things that we draw on as part of being the university is obviously our research profile and how we can enhance the research-led teaching application of that throughout our programmes. And we're also known as well for our employability for our graduates, which we're really proud of. And I think that really comes through in the professionalisation of a lot of our programmes. Oh, that's jumped too far. Sorry about that. I'll just go back. Do apologise, I don't know why that jumped so far then. But we are based across 3 or 4 campuses at the University of Edinburgh, but the exciting news is that we've just launched a brand new building as part of the Usher Institute, which is on the Royal Infirmary of Edinburgh campus. And that is really drawing across the university campus all of the expertise in data, health and social care. So this is really quite exciting for us. And even though we really miss the old buildings, we're quite excited to be in our kind of modern building situated in the city centre. So why was this programme designed? And this is a question that we get asked about quite a lot. And really, this programme was funded by the City Region Deal. So this is a mechanism for accelerating growth by pulling on significant government investment. And so by investing in funding innovation, skills and the infrastructure, it significantly is going to improve how we tackle challenges and the inequalities and deprivation, specifically in the city region for Edinburgh, but obviously internationally as well. So the DDI initiative is really striving to help researchers collaborate with businesses, charities, the public sector, and it really is across the crossroads of data science, research and real world challenges. And this is the exciting part of how we designed the programme, because we were able to draw from all the experience in the data-driven innovation programme. It is part of the City Region Deal, as I said, and it's a big kind of aspiration to make Edinburgh the data capital of Europe. And our programme is a tiny part of driving the wider ambition for this as part of the City Region Deal. And this is why this programme was originally launched. We are part of 6 data-driven innovation centres, and the benefit of that really is around the housing the expertise and the facilities across different industrial sectors. And our specific centre is the Usher Institute, and that really brings people, population and data together so that we can really drive innovation across the sector. So that's what you would benefit as being part of a student, driving the education and training that provides the sector skills, and the workforce development aspect of this comes out quite strongly when we offer standalone courses as part of the master's programme as well. So just showing off the new building. So as I said, co-locating the Usher Institute with a community of partners and public. And this is where the transformation really comes into play, with the health in the society, working with people, populations and data. And as you can see that we've been scattered across the city. So now we're all in one building. We can really forge through with creating these brilliant collaborations, and the students can be part of that if you join the programme. I'll just briefly introduce just the depth of the expertise on the programme. So we do have clinical leads and also senior lecturers in different domain areas in the programme. And we also have specific software development programmers and teaching assistants and statisticians, all working together in an interdisciplinary manner to support the programme. But what's nice as well is that we've co-designed our programme with a really vast group of course experts across industry, public sector, the third sector, and every single course has been co-designed in this way to develop all of our courses. So that's really been quite exciting to see the developments of that come together, and some really unique courses which, as you can see from my face, it brings a smile to my face, because the courses really do come to life and they're very relevant and they're very current and they're updated on a regular basis as well. And that collaboration has been really exciting. You're also supported by a professional services programme team. We have student advisors, programme administrators, learning designers. So you're all, as students, well supported on the programme. So just a few reasons to study with us. You know, why should you study with us? Why should you pick this particular programme? Obviously, there's a highly relevant aspect to this programme. It is in health and social care. It's trying to integrate health and social care and demonstrate the value of that as you learn data science. And also it enables us to adopt new capabilities to engage effectively with data-driven approaches. And it'll provide you with the capacity to realise the value of data within the public and private health and social care organisations. You can also create your own learning pathways, so it's very bespoke in that way. We do have 2 core foundation level courses, which I'll just introduce in a second, but you can really build your own learning pathway, whether that in different areas, depending on your background. So if you come from a computational background, you might want the more health and social care context. But if you come from a social care background, you might want the programming elements and the data-driven innovation and visualization elements of the programme to really strengthen your career pathway and your progression in different areas. We've got a proven track record in data-driven innovation. We also have a service called Data Loch, which provides access to cutting-edge repository of health and social care data in the region. And we access that for real-life data in the third-year dissertation projects, where you'll be able to use and access it for case studies, and we also use it for problem-based learning activities as well. But mostly in the final year dissertation. And also, by choosing to study with us, you'll be part of a cohort of international students which are focused on the future of health and social care. You're joining that community of practice where you're all trying to achieve the same thing, and I think that's really special, and that the different global perspectives that we gain from our students is really something quite unique, and we're always learning as well from our students as much as we're teaching them. So I won't spend too much time on this, but it's just to say I think most people, hopefully you would know that the elements of data science and what it brings if you are choosing a master's in this area. But it's just to demonstrate that this particular master's is really the backbone is the health and social care context. And what we can do from that is really draw on you know, the examples and the case studies and the teaching portfolio, extracting those actionable insights from data enabling in different areas, so in the health and social care context. And it really allows our students to see how organizations can increase, you know, efficiencies, manage costs, and identify new opportunities in data-driven innovation. And also just really valuable to get the different insights from health and the social care examples. So why is data important for health and social care? I think we all know the reasons, but the kind of main thing is that data-driven innovation is obviously a powerful tool. You're going to gain the knowledge and the fundamentals of data science, but also develop expertise in accesses in interpreting and interrogating data-intensive research. And also you'll learn a range of tools and understanding to address some of these issues in the real world. So innovation as well with data is vital for response to public health challenges, and we use a lot of real life case scenarios for that. So you'll be working with real scenarios to really challenge yourselves with public health challenges throughout the course. So I'll just skip over this, and just the main parts of our programme, just because in the essence of time, the master's programme is delivered, as I said, in the master's diploma, certificate and postgraduate professional development route. It's part-time, it's 100% online, and we generally say to spend 10 to 15 hours on learning per week. It's designed for busy professionals at different career stages, with real varying exposures to data science. Actually, some people come in very experienced but need the health and social care context, but some people come in very inexperienced and need the foundations of the data science courses as well. And just to really clarify that online degrees are equal to on-campus degrees. This question comes up a lot with our prospective students. You know, is the online degree, does it hold the same status and the same value? Absolutely, and you shouldn't underestimate how many hours it takes to learn online, and it's just the same as being an on-campus student. A little snapshot around our student profile. So data science and computational backgrounds are around 30%. Half of our students are healthcare. Most people come from healthcare backgrounds in different domain areas, but a lot of AHP, allied health professionals as well. Industry also we attract on the programme, with social care being probably the least amount of students we attract. And I think this is just down to funding and being able to have the time to dedicate to the study. So we are trying to improve the funding elements of access to bursaries and scholarships to make sure that we've got that equal representation of students studying on our programme. The age range is really vast, as you can see there. From 35 is the mean age, with the youngest being around 23 and the oldest around 57. So we've got a real diverse group of students on the programme. So I'm going to ask Brittany to just come in on this part as well, just to enhance, because she's obviously directly teaching on the programme. But we do have a 3-year part-time programme. So the first year is a certificate, the second year is a diploma, and the third year is a master's. We have 2 compulsory elements, which is the introduction to data science and health and social care, and the foundations of research design, because we do feel that the students shouldn't graduate without those. And then we've got lots of elective courses as well, and some really interesting dissertation options, which is the traditional dissertation and the work-based placement with industry, and also a student-led, individually created course where students can design their own programme as well. So as I turn to the electives, I'll just bring Brittany in to just chat about the huge variety of our electives, if that's okay.
Yes, thank you, Michelle. So I think the main thing I'd like to get across in talking about these electives is exactly as Michelle has mentioned, and I'm sure Cesario will pitch in a little bit on his lived experience of this as well. But the one thing that I think is really unique about our program is not only that it's in the health and social care context, but you can really craft your learning pathway depending upon the experiences that you already have and what experiences you're looking to gain. And it's not anything that you have to decide after the first introduction course. You can choose your electives in a fluid sort of way where you might want to take a certain course. For example, the data visualization knowledge transfer course that we have tends to be one that students take, and minds are blown, lives are changed, and then students might want to actually change what they thought they wanted to study and the different electives that they wanted to take and recraft their learning pathway based on learning that they've done in different courses. So as you can see here, we have a selection of some of our electives. In the sort of purple background are technical programming-based electives, and then in the white background is our more context understanding theory-based courses that will really get you ingrained in that health and social care context. And something that we do quite well, and I'm quite proud of, is that our portfolio interweaves both and values both of these things. So you could leave technically, but we wouldn't advise you to do that. Only studying programming and really technical skills, or only studying context understanding and really understanding the health and social care context. But what's best and will give you the best opportunity and the best learning experience is to interweave these two and balance them as is most suitable for your own career progression and interests. So we have a range of technical courses that you can see here. So Introduction to Databases and Information Systems, for example, is looking at SQL or SQL and R. Foundations of Software Development is in Python. Natural Language Processing and Health and Social Care is in R. We have a course that's quite innovative that teaches both Python and R at the very same time. Quite intense, but very cool. Introduction to Statistics, Health and Social Care is also in R, but we do have this balance of more context understanding courses as well. Things that are really important, like data security and data ethics, or understanding digital technologies, managing and leading data-driven innovation, and as I mentioned, the data visualization knowledge transfer course as well. And on the next slide, we have additional electives. If Michelle, if you'd like to go to the next one, please. Oh, yes, here we are. Following the same pattern where the purple background is the technical courses and the white background is the context understanding. And this is again just showing more options. These are more of our year 2 or second level courses that progress and build on the courses that we've shown on the elective slide just before. So for example, intermediate R programming is a higher level course, of course, in R, where you're learning at an intermediate level. Applied software development is Python at a higher level as well. Big data analytics is taught in R. And we also have more sort of advanced or really applied context understanding and theory courses like user-driven service design, person-centered care in the digital age, data standards and core technologies, systems thinking in health and social care. And we balance not only having programming courses in our technical portfolio, but also really understanding how to apply that in things like machine learning, AI, as well as NLP as a subset of machine learning looking at text mining. So that is all that I think I will say for the electives. And just to mention, this is not an exhaustive list of our electives. We are always updating and adding new courses based on student feedback, as well as we have a larger portfolio as well. But these are our core elective courses that we wanted to mention.
Thanks, Brittany. And just to stress, you can take any of these courses as standalone courses as well. So anybody can come in and take a postgraduate professional development course, walk away from the programme and come back. And you can build up to a certificate level as well. So just really briefly, just how students will learn on the programme, because this is another really common question that we get asked. It's really varied. So we have a lot of group work activities, pair programming, peer assisted learning. We have a lot of reflective writing, because it's really important to be a reflective practitioner. and also a lot of self-directed learning. But there's also critical appraisal, presentation skills. You know, the list is vast in how we assess and engage with our learners. So applying, pretty standard really in comparison, I'm sure, with other universities, but we require a 2-1 honours degree or its international equivalent in a relevant or appropriate subject. And we may also consider your application if you have a minimum of 3 to 5 years relevant work experience. So we do go through those applications on a case-by-case basis. There are English language programme requirements as well to meet, and all of that information is on our website, which we can share. And the application for applying for our programme this year is the 23rd of August. We do recognise prior learning as well, demonstrated from previous university study or from within the University of Edinburgh. But again, this is on a case-by-case basis, and we have to look at, you know, the learning outcomes that are aligned to our current study and whether they suffice to be classed as recognised prior learning. So we're just coming to the end. I have included our fees as well, which I can share later on. But with the postgraduate professional development route, you can pay on an invoiced at course level, so that you don't have to commit to paying the whole fee, which is a really great way to be able to afford to build and scaffold your learning. So, you know, you can stack up the courses until you reach the amount of credits that allow you to exit with a certificate, diploma or an MSc. So that's been really popular with our students. We also have a wide variety of scholarships, which are all on our website as well, and are all clearly defined in who is able to apply for those. So our contact details for follow-up questions, because there's far too much to cover on our programme, so we've tried to keep it really brief, but I hope we kept to time. The email address is there, so pgt.dshsc@ed.ac.uk. We are really open and consistently actually answering lots of questions this year about this particular programme. And we have a team which are great at responding. So please just email us if you require any more information. And I think Cesario probably needs to chip in with the student experience side as well, Angus, but I'll pass over to you.
Thank you very much. Yes, Cesario, if you can just tell us a little bit about the situation that you're in. You've done 2 years. I think you're in your 3rd year, and you're involved at the moment in doing your project. Tell us about that.
Good. So I've actually doing the 3rd year, so I'm finishing my dissertation document. It's going quite well, and it does allow me to apply all the skills and knowledge that I've acquired over the first 2 years of the program in the dissertation, which is a traditional dissertation, is using healthcare data. So I'm a cardiac physiologist by profession, and my dissertation is looking into a cardiology topic by examining cardiology practices over time. So I was able to merge my professional expertise with all the skills and knowledge acquired during this program, which was great and very valuable.
And what do you plan to do with all these skills now? Are you getting promotion where you are working?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So the program provides me with a lot of new skills, which are indeed very valuable in my current role. But it can as well open possibility to pursue it research interests, such as further research. So it undoubtedly gave me lots of tools to apply into my current practice. But also it opens the possibility to do further research, shall I desire.
Very good. Thank you very much for joining us, Cesario. Very much appreciated. Michelle, I have one question before you finish. I looked on your website and you emphasize the fact that this has been designed so that people in full-time work can actually do the course. But how do you work around the students who are in full-time employment, who have perhaps unsocial hours that they are working, and yet they have to actually take part in the course at certain times? How do your students work around that?
That's a great question, and thanks for bringing it up, because that is a very common question we get asked in the application stage. So we designed the program with asynchronous and synchronous, so live and recorded elements of our program. So there are live tutorials where they're all recorded and students can visit them at in their own time. So we realize that people are very, very busy. And so what we've done is try to break down the elements of the course in a manageable way, which is structured to not overwhelm the student, but so if they miss something, they don't fear and don't get stressed. They can actually just come back and review the content. And what's nice is they're supported by discussion boards from the tutors, and those tutors will man those discussion boards and ensure that the students are supported. Even after, if they've missed 2 weeks, those discussion boards are still open. So they really hopefully they feel supported with the teaching team in that way. Cesario, you might want to chip in, because you're in this exact situation. You're a busy cardiologist, and trying to juggle study and work.
Yeah, it's definitely, the program has this asynchronous learning, and there is a care where the live lectures are going to be delivered, which there was always an effort to try to accommodate students from different time zones. And I never, if I miss out a live session, it will be instantly available, the recording. So it was definitely an effort for accommodating this busy schedules that comes with a full-time job and a master's.
Thank you very much indeed. Michelle, if you can unshare, please. And we will move on now to the other course from Manchester and UCL. And George is actually Georgina, but she uses the name George. And she's going to tell us about the course, which is a collaboration between UCL and Manchester. Over to you, George, if you can unmute.
Hi, I'm presenting this on behalf of a team at Manchester and UCL who deliver the Health Informatics program, which can be delivered in studied in various ways, either as a full MSc or in other exit awards as a diploma or a certificate, or as continued professional development. And really, the main aim of the program is to bring together the people, the data, and the technical skills required to transform healthcare and to meet the requirements of the rapidly changing health economy. And throughout the course, what we do is really give people the skills that are required for work, so where it's very applied and very focused on the professional status of people. So 2 universities, and it is 1 degree. It's based really on world-leading research and education. Both UCL and Manchester have great depth in both its medical and computer science schools, but also in its teaching. And we deliver 3 programs that have been specifically designed and delivered for the healthcare service and data analytics and informatics professionals. For the program, we can draw on this wealth of expertise across 2 different health economies and two research institutions So we have the largest output of health informatics research, and in fact, we're fourth in the UK in the world for digital health citations. So it's this wealth of being embedded in the NHS with industry and our research that allows us to bring together many, many case studies that we use for the programme. So research-driven teaching. In terms of our programme team, we are about 30 academics from both institutions. We come from an array of different backgrounds, health informatics, statistics, AI, and those people also that deal with organisational and systems thinking. In addition, we work with frontline NHS professionals and industry. So throughout the entire programme, we're bringing together that mix of expertise to work in an interdisciplinary way to deliver the programme. And actually, that's the uniqueness of the programme, that we are bringing together this new group of people. And it's the ethos of the programme in terms of team science. So not only are you going to learn the practical skills of being able to use data and technology in the healthcare environment, but how to do it in an interdisciplinary way, bringing together all different various expertise. So what do we cover? So we're going to give you the data, what the format of the data is, all the information governance, ethical and legal issues. But we're also going to teach you how you can analyse that data to drive actionable insights. We also talk about the technologies that are available, how you build up requirements gathering, how you design systems and information management systems such that they can be used to drive decision making. And then we also talk about the organisational and human factors that are involved in being able to embed data and digital in the healthcare service. Our programme, because it has been designed with NHS professionals, because it has been designed with industry professionals, does map against the competency frameworks that are used and industry standards. And we've really been very, very careful at being able to devise the programme such that it can be used to develop people's careers. So our programme is blended learning. 70% of it is delivered online, and that's where we deliver the key knowledge, concepts and theories. And often people do that in their own time. And then 20%, which is often based either at Manchester or at UCL, depending on the module that you take, is synchronous workshops. And this is where we're enabling people to think around problems, work in groups, and apply that knowledge and real world thinking. And then the 10% is often focused around the assessment, which is project based, and study work, which is around a real world business application. So what does it that we teach? Well, we have 16 modules in total, or 12 modules in total that we deliver. 4 of which are compulsory, and those are shown in purple here. And then we have 8 optional modules that are delivered. 1 focused around the analytics, and the second group of 4 around informatics. The 4 core modules are really giving you the foundational skills across all informatics and analytics. So, for example, Essentials in Informatics for Healthcare Systems is looking at how the development of policy is done. Health Information Systems is looking around how they are designed and the project management around them. Modern Information Engineering is going to give you the actual practical skills to be able to design databases and program in Python and other languages. And then the final compulsory unit is around health data analytics, focused around operational analytics methods. The optional modules, you can choose whichever takes your fancy. It's personalised learning. Those that are in blue are really around informatics. So standards and interoperability is looking at open EHR and FHIR and about how those messaging standards are used. And digital transformation, for example, is looking at the human factors around how do you put a digital tech or data into the healthcare service. So very much based on case studies that we've worked upon through research. Then if you take the analytics modules in green, you will take machine learning in healthcare, which is going to tell you about the different methods and how and when they should be applied. And the applied health analytics will look at building on the health data analytics module in the core, more advanced modules, and also the types of environments where you can use those methods. If you're studying for an MSc, you will also do a dissertation. And the dissertation is often co-constructed with the student. So it's something that is of interest to you with an academic who will oversee the supervision. Or you can take on a project that has been proposed either via the NHS or an industry contact. We tend to use innovative delivery of education. Both at Manchester and UCL, we have a strong pedagogical units sat within our institutes of health informatics. And so we very much not only do research-driven teaching, but we're actually feeding the way that we teach back into research. So this is just an example of some of the things that we've done in our current programme. For example, we do a connect-a-thon in the standards and interoperability unit, which is around how do we build and connect systems together. Or we use case studies such as completing assessment forms that are actually being used in the real world. So we're very, very much looking at innovative delivery. We've devised 2 games that enable us to model a learning healthcare system, which all students have access to. So what does our student voice and alumni say? Well, since the inception of the joint degree, we've trained 157 trainees. Most of those have been professionals in the NHS. And in fact, this programme does underpin the NHS training in health informatics. But also we do attract a large number of healthcare professionals, from nurses, clinicians, pharmacists, for example, that are not based on the NHS programmes, and some international students. And most of the students that we have do go on to still work in the NHS, and largely a variety of roles, but some are senior leadership roles, 2 of which are demonstrated here on the slide. 80% of our students would recommend it to others, and they strongly agree that the teaching is good. And of course, we're always working with students to get their feedback and to improve not just the teaching, but also the content of the programme. And because we've been asked to bring a past student, I'm going to hand over to Terry Marie, who's going to give you her voice on what the benefits are of the course to her.
Thank you, George. Hi, so I'm Terry Marie. I was on the first intake of the Joint Health Informatics Master's Programme with UCL in Manchester. And I'm just going to talk about, so I've got sort of 5 points of what stood out for me in my experience during my, what ended up being 2 and a bit years there due to COVID. But yeah, so the course covers a wide range of subjects. For me, this really helped me figure out what I like, what I don't like. As George mentioned, the first year is sort of like a base across the entire range of topics, which meant that I felt really informed to choose my optional second year modules. It also provided like flexibility and career trajectory of my colleagues that I was on the programme with. Like there's a wide variety of roles that people have gone into, from standard informatics teams in the NHS, private work with consultancies like myself. I'm at KPMG as a data strategy consultant, so I don't necessarily work as hands-on with data as some of my colleagues would, but I'm very much in that data transformation and strategic space. And there's a wide range of other roles that people have gone into. Secondly, the hybrid delivery, so online and in person. I felt the online gave the freedom whilst doing a full-time job, and actually as I was on the course, as a core part of my NHS graduate management training scheme in health informatics. My first year, I also had another PG cert that I had to do. So the online delivery was really great for that flexibility and being able to kind of manage it around your own time. But the in-person really helped kind of like cement that learning. It gave us the additional support, made us feel a lot more connected with the professors providing the course. And it also provided us networking opportunities. So that was quite a unique thing that was delivered by both universities. On all of our in-person sessions, we would have like an actual networking event where there'd be ourselves, our classmates, you know, because we wouldn't have interacted that much, and we are going to be professionals in that industry. So, you know, that's a network in itself, but also other professionals from the like contacts within the industry that the professors had themselves, and them themselves are amazing like contacts to have in your network as well. So the networking opportunities were fantastic and really helped set you up for your career. The fact that it was delivered by 2 universities actually helps us. You've got a wider network of experience and expertise to learn from. The 2 locations was also helpful in that when you did have your optionals, some people would prefer, like, did make a choice sometimes based off their travel, although that it's a minor thing, but yeah, it was nice having the 2 locations and 2 universities, and there was like different teaching styles between the universities as well, and having the combination of that was a really, really interesting and different way of learning. Really gave a lot to the course. As well as the technical content, there's also leadership content. So as I said, we would get networking opportunities with industry leaders. We'd also have like talks from industry leaders, both online and at the in-person events. The networking sessions and like general career guidance as well was invaluable really at that stage in my career. On top of that, I was an academic rep during my time on the course, so I got to see like firsthand how well they took on the feedback and actioned it. And actually looking at the course now compared to when I started in 2018, it's really clear to see like how they've taken that feedback to develop the course further. And also it's clear to see that the course is also still moving with the times. There's a lot more of a AI focus now that that is much more in the at the center of kind of everything that we do in the tech industry as a whole, and particularly is going to be invaluable to the healthcare industry as we move forward. I'll pass back to you, George.
Okay. So the final slide actually is around who to contact should you wish to know more. So Paul and I, Professor Paul Taylor, who's also on the webinar, we're the academic co-leads, and we're very happy to speak to you about any questions. But most inquiries about the course do go to the email address there at UCL. There's more information at both websites, both at Manchester and at UCL, just shown here below. And that does include things like the tuition fees for the forthcoming years, and the different ways of delivery that you will be able to investigate depending on your circumstance. But thank you very much for listening.
Very nice. Lovely presentation, Georgina. Thanks very much. I have a searching question I do want to ask. Paul, how did you and George get together?
So we've known each other for a long time. We've worked together for a very, very long time. And we came together when the NHS Graduate Management Training Scheme bid for a contract to deliver health informatics training to the Graduate Management Scheme 6 years ago. And we thought about putting in separate bids and competing, and I decided that I didn't want to lose. So we decided to collaborate, and we've worked together ever since.
Very good. Now, one of the things that I think is important to understand is that people in your courses are accessing health information. Confidentiality is a sensitive issue, and mostly this information is anonymized. But what steps do you take to make sure that your course students are not in a position where they can access non-anonymized data?
So in the course of teaching, we don't expose the students to any live patient data whatsoever. In the course of giving students exercises to do, we have various ways we can give them the experience of accessing patient data without giving them live patient data in a hospital. So, for example, we use the widely available anonymized data sets that are often used for these purposes, like Mimic, or I think in one of the modules that Glenn leads, we use data which was originally collected as part of Framingham. So these are large data sets that are used for these purposes in different teaching. George, do we use the Manchester eLab in any of the teaching on this program?
Yeah, so yes. So one of the things that we do is we have an innovative laboratory that allows us both to teach, but also to give students access to anonymized data sets. And this platform is used in our teaching, particularly in our data analytics teaching. And that platform also underpins some of the secure data environment work that we both institutions take part in. So it's giving people not just the flavor of the data, but the types of environments that you'll be using that data in.
We're slightly behind the curve on this compared to Manchester, but we have a project which is in partnership with UCLH, where we have a system that mirrors the live patient data to the cloud, and quite soon we're going to be able to allow students to work with synthetic data reflecting the true patient data in that environment. But we're not doing that with students on this program this year.
That is an important development, and I know that software engineers who are working on EPRs are desperate to have this sort of information for developing their electronic patient records, because they are struggling because there isn't an awful lot of valid information around that they can use. Now, I'm going to throw the doors open. I'd like any of you to ask questions of any of the presenters. I would love Edinburgh to have a go at Manchester or London and vice versa. Have you any questions you want to ask before we come to the end?
So I'll ask a question, which is, so the program that George and I have been talking about was originally a health informatics program, and we recently broadened it out to kind of cover health informatics and health analytics because the world of health informatics has become more focused on the data than it used to be. And I just invited to reflect, your program's different, right? Because it's a data science program. So how would you characterize the difference between your audience perhaps and our audience in terms of who might go on a data science program compared to a sort of health informatics, health data analytics program? Do you see them as being different?
Shall I step in there, Brittany? Yeah, so
Please.
yeah, our course really, you're right. And I think the distinction between both is that we're trying to attract a wider audience that is able to pick up that kind of foundation introductory element of data science and build it into a niche area, you know, to kind of personalize the learning pathway. So I think our kind of student population in comparison to yours is very diverse, not heavily computational backgrounds, not informaticians or, you know, we've got social care workers, we've got social care assistants, we've got GPs, nurses, physios, doctors, AHPs, you know, a real vast kind of pool of students. And I think the way that the course is designed is to be more accessible in that way around the foundations of data science, looking at the different areas of how that integration between health, you know, and social care is realized, you know, and how the data insights are used in different ways to report and to improve health outcomes. So
that's really interesting, because that's different to how it works in at UCL and I suspect in Manchester as well, because we have a data science program that's quite different to our health informatics program, and it's much more scientific, right? It's preparation for careers in research, and the graduates go on to roles in consultancy organizations and pharma, and consultancy organizations working with pharma and those kinds of roles. Whereas our course, which is health informatics, actually sounds much closer to what you describe your data science course as being about. So we do have a very mixed intake of people who are from a clinical background or from a non-clinical background. We actually we don't have a strong computer science sort of or mathematical statistical expectation of our students at all. So we take quite a large group of students from the NHS graduate management training scheme, and that it's a very prestigious and competitive program, but it has no prerequisites in terms of what the prior qualifications of the students are. So our program is actually not and you know, Marie can speak to that. It's not actually the most technical master's qualification that you could take if you were interested in doing that.
And I do think the biggest bit of feedback is around that, the balance between the technical and the theoretical applied to practice skills. So yeah, I think you're right. I think all master's programs are changing in this area because they do need to be, you know, more applicable to a changing and a really vast, advanced changing world, I think, especially in this area. But yeah, I do have one question, Angus, for the team, and it's a really practical one, because we've tried to have collaborative ventures in the past with other universities, and it's been difficult. You know, it's been really difficult to set up those because of the differences in systems and processes within both universities. And if the students are part of a joint award, which university would they have when they graduate on their certificate? Who fights for that battle of having that, you know?
Michelle, it's a joint award, so it's jointly awarded by Manchester and UCL. So there's two.
They're both on the certificate.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
We got two student cards. We got enrolled at both universities. We had 2 student email addresses.
Because I know that would be one of the questions the student would ask.
You wouldn't believe
this recording.
You wouldn't believe how difficult it was to sort out the question of the degree certificate. The institutions were really great about the branding and the logos, but it was the signatures. It was getting the 2 signatures on the certificates was the hardest thing.
Because we've gone through similar processes in the past where it's actually halted at that stage because of these issues.
Thank you, Michelle. But before we go, I must say thank you to the 2 students who've come along, Cesario and Terry Marie. Thank you for giving up an evening to come and listen to these boring people. But we have very much appreciated you coming along. Both of you were enthusiastic about your courses. This is, again, a loaded question. Were you hand-picked because your leaders knew you would be good? What do you think, Cesario? Were you hand-picked, or do you think you represent the whole group?
I think I do represent quite a wide variety of my colleagues in the healthcare professional, so and has a full-time worker as well. So I think I'm a good representation of the group.
Thank you. Terry Marie?
Yeah, I'd say I'm a quite a solid representation of like your sort of average student on the postgrad, but I mean it's so varied anyway that but I think I was probably more engaged with the university and the academic rep side of things and stuff, so maybe that swayed the decision of who to contact.
Lovely. I'm going to close the webinar. I'd like to say thank you to all of the participants, particularly George, Paul, and Michelle for putting this together with me. And I think it's been a very valuable contribution, helping students to understand what these courses are all about and help them select which courses are most appropriate. So thank you for listening to us, and thank you all for joining us. And I'm going to close the webinar now. Good night.